Good morning. Today is Thursday. Thursday is Jupiter's day, and Jupiter is about expansion and blessings. And I am the Moon Mama, and today is my birthday. Yay! And this is how I'm up usually. Like, I literally don't sleep at night in the morning time. And so I wanted to come on because I had this experience today that I had to share because it is totally like rearranging my consciousness in this incredible way. So the moon is in Pisces today, and Pisces is about the collective consciousness, and that's the stuff that we all experience, and it's the internal and the external and all of that. And so, and our collective agreements, right? So I have a Pisces rising. And how that shows up for me is that I tend to be very called to the collective experience. I tend to be very impacted by the collective agreements. And so I had this experience that I have to share with you guys because it blew me away today. So I went to pick my son up from school. He's 12, he's in the 6th grade. So, and he goes to a school with typical kids. He's not in a school with kids who have special needs. And so he has Down syndrome, and it's it's a dance. It's a dance, and he's great. Like, he's learning, and he's advancing, he's progressing, he's excited, and he's different. He has a different way of being in the world. And it looks like it shows up is that he just doesn't take on the conditioning. So the way we start to acclimate and try to fit in and bend ourselves to belong, he doesn't do that. And it doesn't occur to him to do it, or at least it hasn't occurred to him yet. So with girls, he's just out, he just is like, be my girlfriend, and can I have a kiss? And he doesn't do the thing that boys have been taught to do by that age. So today I picked him up from school, and he's been talking about this little girl, and I don't want to say her name in case anything goes wrong, but he's been talking about this little girl, and let's just call her Susan, right? And Susan is my girlfriend. Susan is my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, great. And then I've seen her, like, and he'll wave to her. Hi, Susan. He'll wave, and she'll wave, and then so that's happened a few times. We've only been to school like a couple of weeks. So yesterday he saw her, and he waved really excited because he's very animated and very excited, like that. And I saw her like do a I don't want to be bothered with you kind of thing, from afar. I saw it. And she's a blonde little girl, and I saw her like do a thing like you're bothering me, or I'm better than you. And at least that's what I projected, that was what was going on inside of her. And so it struck me, and I was like, oh. So I reached for my son because I'm now like feeling like bad for him. So I reached for him to like bring him to me, to like hold him into me. And and then I kind of just let it go because I realized this is his life and this is his journey, and I can't really protect him. But when I came home, I started thinking about it, like how that shows up in my own life, how that thing shows up inside of me. And so I was raised in Watts, and I grew up in a family where there was so much weird stuff going on around race and colorism and classism. And so all of that stuff lives inside of me. So when I was a child, I was always very attracted to little girls who were light skinned, and because they look like what the culture said you should look like. They look like what was celebrated in the community. And my mother was light skinned, and my grandmother is the product of a rape. My grandmother, her mother was working in home of a white people's family in Alabama, and she was raped, and my grandmother was the result of that. But my grandmother was really praised because of her beauty, right? Nobody talked about the fact that she was half white and that her father was a rapist. She was just treated to be special because she looked so pretty, right? And so that was sort of praised in our family and in our community, and you just see all of that sort of classism um, and classism and colorism going on in the Black community, and I see how it shows up in me. It shows up in this divisive way where I hold senses of superiority and less than, and and so I watched this little girl today, and I watched her, and I projected upon her that she felt like she was better than my son because of her race, or because, he has these special needs, and I could feel it inside of me, the otherness, the need to protect him, the thing in me that understood her, because I did that as a little girl to people, or I've seen the women in my family do it, and it's just so, it's incestuous, and it's deep, and it's tightly wound, and and so I wanted to share this today because this is the work of healing. This is the work of healing at the core level of ourselves. The things that this country and our families and our communities has bred in us due to that original thing around race that also shows up in gender, but it really shows up in the Black community in a very exacerbated, toxic way. And I carry it, and we all do if we can look at it. It shows up in my life in very toxic ways around feeling better than people, feeling less than people, feeling like because someone has a certain skin color, they're better, feeling like because I have a certain skin color that I'm not beautiful, like, feeling like the things in this outer reality really are valid to our soul and human experience, other than just teaching us where we fall short. And that is what I'm asking myself to see. And that little girl showed it to me today. And I have done it in so many times in my life, looked upon people as if I am better than them, or felt that they are better than me, and created this experience of separation and otherness. And it's painful. It is painful. I wanted to break that little fucking girl's back today, but I knew that I was her in some way. And I wanted to protect my child. And I knew that I was him in some way. And I know that I carried all of that stuff inside of me. I watched my mother do it. I watched my grandmother do it. I have friends who do it subtly. That privilege of, like, because I'm light skinned or because I'm white, like that sort of privilege where you can move through the world in a different way. I remember when I went to South Africa, I saw it there in a way that was like really bitter, really nasty. And so I'm asking myself, where does that live inside of me? How can I love myself more deeply? How can I heal that? Because I don't want to do that inside of my son. I remember my mother used to tell me if I was dating someone who was too dark, she would say, he's too dark, because my mother was a light-skinned woman, and it's just, ugh, it's nasty. And I have to look at it, and I have to love all of it, because that's the shadow. And can I love the part of me that carries the shadow? So anyway, happy birthday to me. I know we're doing some deep work today, but that's the work. Peace and blessings. I'm the Moon Mama. Have a wonderful day. Moon in Pisces. Bye-bye.